All right, let's talk about one of the most nerve-wracking moments in any ERP project, going live. You've got this brand new, shiny Business Central system, and now you have to move your entire financial history into it. It sounds like a huge headache, right? Well, it doesn't have to be. There's a really smart strategy that makes sure you get a perfectly clean start from day one.
So let's really think about this. You're going live with Business Central. How in the world do you get your entire financial universe into this blank slate without creating absolute chaos? You've got outstanding customer invoices, open vendor bills, all your inventory sitting on the shelves, the money in your bank accounts. All of it has to come across. The real trick is getting all that detail in there so that from the very first minute, your financial reports are spot on and everything ties out perfectly.
So how do we pull this off without just making a complete mess of our general ledger right out of the gate? Well, the answer is a beautifully simple but really powerful technique. It's called the zero balance strategy. Honestly, this is the key that makes the whole process manageable and accurate. Okay, so what is this strategy? Think of it like this. For every single piece of data you add to a detailed area, like a customer's outstanding invoice, you're also making an equal and opposite entry that cancels it out in the big picture, in the general ledger. So the result is, your subledgers get filled up with all that rich, necessary detail, but your main chart of accounts, it stays completely untouched, just sitting there, perfectly balanced at zero.
So how does this little magic trick actually work? It's pretty cool. In a general journal, you'll post an invoice to, say, a customer account. But here's the secret sauce. For the balancing account, you pick the exact same GL account that the customer's subledger is tied to, so your main account's receivable account. What happens? A debit and a credit hit the same GL account and poof, they just cancel each other out. The general ledger balance doesn't move a penny, but a brand new open customer ledger entry gets created. It's brilliant.
All right, so now that we have this awesome strategy in our back pocket, let's see how we use it to build our foundation. We're going to start, step by step, building the detailed bedrock of our entire financial system. We'll populate all those subledgers, customers, vendors, inventory, banks, one by one.
And through this whole phase, our general ledger has one job and one job only: stay at exactly zero. Every single journal we post to bring in that subledger data is specifically designed to leave the general ledger completely untouched.
And you know what's great about this is that the process is almost identical for bringing in your open customer invoices and your open vendor bills. For customers, you just post to the customer and balance it against the GL receivables account. For vendors, you do the exact same thing, post to the vendor and balance against GL payables. See, it's the same zero balance logic, just applied to different sides of the balance sheet. Super efficient.
Now, inventory. Inventory is a bit of a special case. It takes a little two-step dance. First, you use the item journal to get all your on-hand quantities, locations, and values in there. The thing is, this step does hit the general ledger. So for step 2, you immediately hop over to the general journal and post a reversing entry to manually wipe out that GL impact. This brings your chart of accounts right back to zero. You do have to be careful with this one, paying close attention to things like costing methods and lot numbers just to make sure that final valuation is perfect. Bringing in your open VAT entries? It follows a very similar zero balance pattern. You're in the general journal and you balance the entry against the very same VAT account you're posting to. The real key here is making sure you set your VAT posting groups correctly on each line. But you gotta watch out for one common curveball: reverse charges. These can sometimes create a GL impact on a totally separate account, so you'll just need to post one final manual journal to reverse that specific amount and get your GL back to that beautiful clean zero. And then we have bank accounts. You know, this is probably the most straightforward example of the whole strategy. You post your opening bank balance to the bank subledger, and you simply use that bank's own GL control account as the balancing account. Simple, clean, and yep, you guessed it, the GL stays at zero.
All right, this is the moment of truth. All of our subledgers are now packed with rich, detailed information. We've got customer invoices waiting to be paid, vendor bills all recorded, inventory is sitting on our virtual shelves, and our bank balances are correct. And, most importantly, our main chart of accounts is still a pristine, blank slate.
This slide right here, this is our before picture. This is the proof that all our careful, meticulous work in the subledgers was done correctly. With that zero balance, we are officially ready for the single, final journal entry that's going to bring this whole system to life.
This is where it all comes together. We're now going to post one single, comprehensive journal. This one entry, it represents your entire trial balance from your old system, every asset, liability, and equity account. And this time, there are no balancing accounts. This is the real deal. The debits and credits in this one journal have to balance to zero, all on their own. And take a look. Here is the after picture. With that one single post, our chart of accounts is instantly alive with the correct balances. You can see how the control accounts like accounts receivable and inventory now have values that should, in theory, perfectly match all the details we already loaded into their subledgers.
But hey, theory isn't good enough, right? We are not done until we prove it. Reconciliation is, without a doubt, the most critical final step. We absolutely have to confirm that the summary balances in our general ledger perfectly match the detailed totals from our subledgers.
And this right here, this is the payoff for all that careful work. We run our key reports and the results speak for themselves. The total of all our open customer invoices, it perfectly matches the accounts receivable GL balance. The value of our inventory, it is identical to the inventory GL balance. Seeing a difference of zero all the way down the line, that's the proof. That's a successful, fully reconciled go-live.
You know, by following this clean slate strategy, you've done way more than just move some data around. You've built a foundation of absolute trust in your new system from the very first day. So the question to leave you with is, with data this clean and this reliable, what's the very first strategic business decision it's going to help you make?